Okay, guys. Here in the short form, we're going to try to run through a couple things real quick and kind of show you how we build these things. This is black walnut that our client requested. Right here, you see we're throwing it up on the table, getting it kind of laid out. We need to debark those edges and clean off the surface, so when we put it in our mold, the epoxy sticks to the side and it doesn't pull off a lot of debris when we over pour. You got to get those edges off really good. Here's a shot of our mold. We built it out of melamine and Tyvek tape. There's my wife in the background. Here's just a shot of us pouring. We use ice epoxy resin. That's one of the best resins that we've found to use. And there's us putting in the alcohol dye because this customer wanted a transparent pour. We usually mix for about 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how deep the pour is. Once we get everything laid into the mold, we pour our first layer. Our first layer is going to serve two purposes. It's going to lock those slabs into position, and it kind of gives us a base of what we're going to go off of. The deeper we pour the first layer, the less we have to pour clear if the client wants it coming up. It just depends on what the client wants the finished product to look like. Here's some AMSR for you guys. Here we're going back and popping the bubbles on that first layer, making sure we get all those out. Since this is a transparent pour, you don't want to be able to see any bubbles inside the actual epoxy itself. Sometimes when you're pouring opaque, that doesn't really matter, but if you're pouring a translucent pour, then you want to get as many bubbles out as you can, and we like our stuff to look really good. Here's a slab after it dries, getting CNC'd. Getting it to a perfect flatness. If you're local in the area on the North Shore, I suggest you stop by Trey's on 59. And he's done a lot of slabs for us. He's a really great guy to work with. Here's us squaring up the edges. That Makita track saw has really been one of our bigger and better investments. After we get the edges squared up, we go back for the live edge and kind of mold and shape them the way we want it. And then we come back with a finish sander and do our horizontal passes, and after that we make our vertical passes. There's a lot. However much sanding you think you need to do, times that by 3, and then do that same amount of sanding again the next day, and you may cover enough sanding. Right here you can see us doing a new technique we like to call more sanding. And there it is before we apply the finish. We didn't get a shot of actually applying the Rubio, but here you can see Noel wiping the Rubio off and seeing how it is really going to start to look. This client opted for some metal bases, and that Rubio just leaves a really beautiful finish. It's a super easy finish to apply too. And coming up is some shots of the finish table in the client's space. This is Michael with Bark and Brushes, and I hope you enjoyed this video.